This old mannequin was used to deceive the enemy. The more mannequins there were, the larger and more dangerous the crew seemed. I could use it to distract my dad and enter his cabin. If I could disguise it as a pirate, I could make it pass for one of Kid's most bitter enemies. If I'm not mistaken, he named Morgan and Blackbeard earlier. I really see it as a Morgan. This gives it an aura of mystery. A classy touch. The hat makes it look more important. They seem the right size. I don't think there was much variety of measurements on a pirate ship. It's starting to look like a member of the crew. Let's try to make it meaner. Discreetly threatening.
What's happening now? I hope it's something important.
Captain, there's Morgan on the bridge.
Morgan. Damn scoundrel. You finally came back for the final showdown. It's really you, foul traitor. What nerve you dare show. By returning to the ship you turned your back on after it welcomed you as a child. Prepare yourself to face my wrath.
While Dad is busy, I can access the captain's cabin.
You won't.
Dad has placed the logbook to protect the chalice's contents. Since I'm here, I better take them both. The same acrid smell of the mushrooms I saw in the cave emanates from the chalice. This could explain many things. Dad managed to survive all these years on a mixture of water and mushrooms. Even in small quantities, they sustain any organism that feeds on them and provide vital energy. On the other hand, they're also a powerful hallucinogen. Dad's state of shock following his fall from the cliffs, combined with the sight of Kid's ship, made him believe that he was the captain. If he keeps drinking from this chalice, he might never wake up. I have to get rid of this chalice. Professor Jones taught us that a strong adrenaline rush will counteract the mushroom's effect. First the chalice and then the adrenaline. One thing at a time. These are the nautical charts of the galley. They will be worth a fortune. With these, it would be possible to retrace the ship's routes and identify the places it visited. I can't deal with this right now. It's more urgent that I find a way to get out of here with Dad. It's the statue of a dragon. It was also Kid's nickname. Other than Scourge of the Seas, he was known as the Sea Dragon for the firepower of his cannons. Better leave it where it is. I don't need it to get Dad out of here. Kid, the Sea Dragon. The adventure galley was equipped with extraordinary weapons, which is the reason it became legendary.
It's time to end the game. Don't show your face again, Morgan.
Look who's back. Henry and his kid, the young Morgan.
How did you manage to get here, Steve?
It wasn't difficult. I was looking for you all over town, and suddenly, what a stroke of luck. I saw you entering the crypt in the graveyard. I waited for you a long time. Eventually, I decided to enter and I saw the tunnel. Henry, I didn't think you were still alive. I am partly relieved. My regret was consuming me. In the end, you were right. Kid's ship was docked here in Bone Town.
How dare you come aboard my ship without permission and offend a member of my crew? Who are you?
Henry, don't you recognize me? It's me.
Dad! Captain! It's Blackbeard. He was also able to get on board.
Blackbeard. Yes, I recognize you now. I see that you and Morgan are still inseparable. You'll end up just like him.
Henry, not again.
You leave me no choice.
I understand, Henry. I'm ready.
On guard!
Whatever you want, Henry.
The day of reckoning. Finally!
We'll see who comes out victorious.
This cannon is ready to shoot. I should have a valid reason to do that.
Let's see what you can do.
On guard!
I can't...
Better keep a safe distance.
Wants to escape.
Prepare yourself.
I was born ready.
Can't you do any better?
You'll see.
On guard.
Whatever you want, Henry.
I can't let you go.
Nobody wants to escape.
It's a relatively new cannon. Probably after the last battle, Kid replaced the cannons that weren't working anymore. Better not. The ship is docked on this side. There's a risk that the shot could ricochet and cause damage. I should have a very valid reason to do something like that. It's the Adventure Galley's logbook. My first priority is Dad, though. Then I can study it calmly. It's a metal chalice. Dad uses it to drink. Inside it is a mixture of water and hallucinogenic mushrooms. It should work. It's not a cannonball, so it won't have such a devastating effect. And now the coup de grace. Fire! I did it! Heck, I didn't see that coming. The racket from the cannon was more devastating than the shell itself. Better go back on deck and alert Dad.
You don't stand a chance this time.
We'll see. I admit it. You defeated me, Henry.
A victory over a man who was once a friend has no value for me.
Captain, I'm sorry to interrupt your duel, but I think we need to go. The cave is collapsing.
Captain, what are you talking about?
The adrenaline caused by the duels with Jimbo and Steve is reducing the effect of the mushrooms. Hurry, let's go. There's not much time.
Not before seeing the treasure. I've never been so close to it, and I have no intention of leaving now.
But Steve, not now. There will be other opportunities in the future.
Yes, Steve. The kid's right. Let's run while we still can.
Henry, do you recognize me?
Steve, is that you? Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. It feels like I just woke up from a long dream.
There's no time, Dad. Let's go.
Dad? How come? Who?
You go! I want Kid's treasure. It represents my whole life's work. Henry, just know that I didn't want any of this to happen.
Steve!
Farewell.
Dad, let's go.
Okay, I'll follow.
Dad, I finally found you.
Willy, is that really you? How long has it been?
10 years, Dad. 10 very long years.
10 years. So this means you received my letter.
Yes, but why did you only have it delivered after all this time?
I sensed that something was wrong with Steve. I could see it in his behavior. When I realized that the search for Kid's treasure was becoming an obsession, I started to suspect that he could hurt our family. I hid my piece of the map and decided to deal with him. You are a Morgan. You have the spirit of adventure in your blood. But you were only 5, and I didn't want to trouble Mom with such a burden. I hoped that in 10 years Steve's obsession would vanish. I decided that if anything ever happened to me, you, after turning the necessary age, would be ready to pick up from where I left off. So I sent the post-dated letter.
I read Steve's diary. I know you fell off the cliff. How did you survive?
A stroke of luck. I fell right into the sea, and the tide pushed me toward an underwater passage that led directly to the cave. I wanted to find a way to get back to the surface, but I had to recover my strength first. The last thing I remember is some really delightful mushrooms. Then it's all a blank.
Dad, let's go back home. We have a lot of things to talk about. Plus, we have to find a way to tell Mom without making her faint.
Elizabeth. Yes, we should go back.
Ready to leave Bonetown once and for all?
Bonetown is not a bad town. As soon as the legal formalities are arranged, we could think about coming back here. Remember, deep inside the cave is still the Adventure Galley. Who knows how much it can still tell the world about the golden age of piracy.
Speaking of which, when I took the chalice, I also brought the ship's logbook with me. Here it is.